Welcome to my channel. Today's topic is active and passive voice and the subject is English. Now, objectives. Differentiate between active and passive voice. Identify the voice of the verb in each sentence. Third, rewrite the sentence changing the voice from active to passive voice. Now the teaching aids will be required. Flashcards with verbs and subjects, a simple story book or passage. So now this is the introduction part. So first, to warm up the students, you can do the physical activities in your class. Now second, previous knowledge. So teacher will write one sentence on the board. The boy kicked the ball, and then will ask students to identify the subject, object and verb. So students will tell that the boy is the subject, so you can underline the boy and write S. Kicked will be the verb, so underline and write V, and then the ball will be the object. So after students will identify, you just underline the subject, object and verb. Next is announcement of the topic. So you will announce the topic that today we will learn about active and passive voice and will see the difference of each sentence clearly. So next will be the explanation. So you can write some few sentences on the board. So write 3 sentences on the board. A student wrote the essay. The chef prepared a meal. She painted the house. Write the topic active voice. Now you will ask the students what are the subject in these sentences. So students will say a student, the chef and she will be the subject. Now what are the verbs used here? So students will answer wrote, prepared, painted. After these questions, now you will tell that these verbs are transitive verbs. These verbs are transitive verbs with direct object. So thus when the subject of the sentence does the action and the verb has a direct object, we say that the verb is in the active voice. So you will explain that here the subject is the doer of the action and the verb has a direct object. So these are the active voice. Now the passive voice. Erase all the 3 sentences from the board and write topic passive voice, and this sentence will remain on the board itself. The boy kicked the ball. So we will say the passive voice is created when the subject is acted upon. This time the subject is going to be the ball because the recipient of the action. So you will ask these sentences, what happened to the ball? Students will say, the ball kicked. So now who kicked the ball? So we will complete this sentence, the ball kicked by the boy. So write few more sentences to explain the passive voice. The essay was written by a student. So you have used these sentences for the active voice. Now you will don't erase these sentences from the board. So you can write all these sentences in front of that sentences. Those sentences like the essay was written, because we are using these active voice and then converting into passive voice. So the essay was written by a student. A meal was prepared by the chef. The house was painted by her. So in each sentence, observe that the students is the receiver instead of being the doer of the action. And also note that the form of the verb when the subject is receiver, not the doer of the action, is made of was plus past participle of the verb. So as we are using the past tense of the active and passive voice, so we will put was plus past participle. So if subject is acted upon, the verb is in the passive voice. Now, after explaining active and passive voice, you can use these activities. So, teacher will read the sentences and will ask students to identify whether it is active or passive voice. So, you can read the sentences and then you can ask students to identify whether it is active or passive. Or else teacher will write sentences on the board in the active voice and then will ask students to convert or change the sentence to passive voice. Or else you can give flashcard to come and read the sentences and then change. So you can write some sentences on the board of the active voice and ask students to convert these sentences into passive voice, or else you can give them flashcards uh, in which active voice sentences will be written on it. You can call one by one to the students and will ask to read the sentence and then change into passive voice. Third, you can read a storybook to identify active sentences and rewrite them in the passive voice. Now you can use the worksheet. You can give the worksheet to the students. Take A for active voice, P for passive voice of sentences. So sentences will be given to the students. I eat an apple. Is this active or passive? This is active voice. A car was bought by him. Active or passive? So you will tell that this is passive. Mom read the novel. So this is active. The cat chased the rat. This is active. The essay was written by her. This is active or passive? Passive. So after these sentences, you can give this, after explaining and after doing activities, you can give this worksheet to the students. Okay, thank you so much.